Wanting to be an entrepreneur was just something that I knew since I was a kid.
Today you're known for everything that you've built out in Goa, with Isprava, with Lahono.
The only thing we care about is when someone walks into those doors, will they get in and say, wow.
A startup called Isprava has concentrated on building holiday homes.
Isprava, specializing in the design and construction of luxury homes.
Our goal is if India has 300 great homes, we want all those 300.
You've been the best boss I've ever had. How did you go about making decisions in the early days?
Forget everything.
Right.
Let's just build the best freaking product possible.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 5 of Beyond the Dream, a podcast where we talk to entrepreneurs, to musicians, to artists, to people from all walks of life with a common theme of not ever having given up on their dream. Today I'm joined by someone very special to me, one of my first bosses, and someone whose friendship I cherish very dearly, and someone who's really played a big part in my career and my life. So Nibhrant, thank you so much for taking the time. Hi. What's up?
Aditya would be going mad, right?
In fact, we just did one with him a few weeks ago, so that was hilarious. I'll send you the outtakes. But thanks so much, Nib. I know how busy you are and how crazy your schedule is. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I think the reason why we started this is back in the day when we worked together at Themis, and we used to keep calling entrepreneurs. And that was really 90% of our day, right? There was no other way to reach out to people besides get them on the phone or meet them in person. Yeah. We've realized that content is it's your perpetual salesperson, and creating informative information is really the best way to reach out to people that are really interested in talking to you. So the idea of today was really just to kind of go back to the start. I think, today you're known best, obviously professionally, for everything that you've done at Isprava, and congratulations, because I've had the chance to witness this firsthand. But today you're known for everything that you've built out in Goa, with Isprava, with Lahono, with the chapter now. I wanted to just kind of maybe peel back the curtain, keep it a little more gritty. The stories that we'd see in that one room that we had in Ghatkopar, or just really for the benefit of folks that are building in this space, want to build in this space, maybe follow you, idolize you. There's so many different folks that are interested in knowing various facets of your story. So really that's what we wanted to talk about. And I thought I'd just keep it fairly open and hand it over to you to really talk about the early days. But even before Isprava started, right? You were obviously a very successful investment banker. That's been fairly documented, and you moved back. And this was a different India. This was 2010, 2011. There was no ecosystem as such. You've literally seen it mushroom. So just take us through, what it was like for you at that time. You were 26, 27. How was life and how were you viewing it then?
So first of all, thanks for having me, Loons. Look, I think 2 or 3 things, right? I think, like you said, I was an investment banker. I wasn't a successful one, actually. I was very, very bad at my job. And I'm assuming if you were an investment banker, you'd be horrible at your job too. We both we aren't meticulous enough, and we don't have discipline, and we definitely can't work for people. But I think moving back when I was 25 was something I always wanted to do. Studying abroad and working for a few years was important. It was a cool thing to do. To work on Wall Street is, it's an equivalent of working in the Valley now, right? Yeah. It was a cool, sexy thing to do.
Correct.
But 2 things. Number one, I always knew I wanted to move back. I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was always in my blood. It was always in my genes. I had friends around me who also wanted to be entrepreneurs, and they're now, very, very successful. At the time, like me, we were novices. And then I think what pushed me to do it a little earlier was just I was so bad at my job. And I couldn't understand it. I didn't enjoy it. Being an analyst and an investment banker means being very good at building financial models and making
Yeah.
presentations. But you know me, man. I can never.
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't do it. So I think, quickly moved back, and after moving back, for the first year, spent a little time with my dad. He had an education company. Spent a little time there, but the aim was always need to start something on my own.
Sure.
And then tried a few things. So had a few ideas. And for those who don't know, I'm jumping a few years forward, but Mihir, Ishan, Aditya, there were, 3 guys, me, we were 4 of us who used to work together in my first startup, which we'll talk about in 2 minutes. But our favorite job or our favorite time of the day was talking about business ideas.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did without you all, of course, at the time.
Correct.
And so I went out and met a whole load of entrepreneurs, a whole load of investors, just to understand what was out there, right? And I think there was one common thread at the time, which is, hey, I've started a business, or I'm starting a business, or I'm a creative looking to start a business. And there's certain things in a business that I just don't enjoy, right? And what are those things at the back end, right? The accounts, the company secretary, the HR, all the boring stuff. So I said,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's start a business. So back in 2010 or 2011, I don't even remember. When
2010,
did you join?
I joined 2012.
12. So I think 2010 or 11 started Themis.
Yeah.
So Themis was my first startup. And what Themis did at the time was we worked with startups and we handled their back-end functions. So we completely took over the accounting, the finance, the company secretary, and in some cases the HR function. The aim was, look, you're an entrepreneur, you do what you're good at, which is building something, and we'll do, the other boring stuff. And then, my first employee was Ishan. Ishan had a best friend, Mihir. So Mihir was, number 2 or 3.
It gets even funnier than that, actually. I'm just going to jump in there. I worked at one of your clients.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's there was a lady called Meenal, who we both know very well, who was the accountant.
By the way, Meenal still works with us at Isprava.
You're never ever getting rid of Meenal,
Yeah,
no matter what.
Meenal, it's been 15 years with Meenal now.
She's incredible. So it's even more connected.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to put that in there. But
No, so once Ishan joined, I was like, look, we need some smart guys. He was like, what about Mihir? He's at another startup. I was like, yeah, cool. And then we met.
Yeah.
And so then we were like 3 or 4 of us who tried to figure out what we were doing. I think we had a whole load of angry customers.
Yeah.
We were, I would say, in some parts of the business, very good at what we did. In many parts of the business, very bad at what we did. And the majority of the business, we were okay. But we kind of rode the wave because I don't know if you remember, but we incorporated some of the startups we heard of today.
It's crazy.
Like
It's totally crazy.
Pepperfry.com. Do you remember when we went to Nika?
110%.
We went to Nika and we met a lady who said, I'm starting this business. And that turned out to be Nika. Or when we sat and we drafted the HR policy for Oravel, which has become Oyo.
Crazy.
Right? Like we did.
Crazy.
So we were at the forefront of what was then, no one knew the startup ecosystem. I like to say we predicted it. I don't know if we did or not, but we definitely rode that wave. And then for those who don't know, Mihir went to B school and decided in B school he really loved the Themis business. I realized he'll be much better at running it than I could be. And again, for those who don't know, Mihir and his partner at that time, Rehan, took over the business. Themis became Savage and Palmer, which is now Brego.
Yeah.
So we're very, 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 very kind of connected. Of course, Brego is now a lot more than just what we did at that time. I think Mihir's really, like I said, grown it better than I ever could have. And that's kind of where we are today. But I think the Themis business was really, really important for all of us.
Yeah.
We met great entrepreneurs. We met every investor, right? Which there was no fund from PE to VC we didn't work with. We didn't know. I mean, we were at the heart of the damn ecosystem.
110%. It was incredible.
And it was really, really incredible. And the learnings we got, and we saw it all firsthand.
Yeah.
And then there were so many companies that have shut down, and we know why. We know why that was going to happen before I think anyone else did. And there's so many companies that are successful, and we knew why they were going to be successful before anyone else did, because we were there, right? Like we were working with them, growing with them, and helping them and getting help by them. And it was super cool. And then at some point, Isprava happened. there was no grand master plan.
Yeah.
I think Isprava
It was always in parallel, right? It was
in parallel for many years.
Yeah.
It was in parallel for many years. But
Like it wasn't structured like a company, it wasn't structured like a business.
Isprava was a hobby, right? And I
Right.
think the way Isprava happened was, again, we spotted a need in the market.
Yeah.
We went to Goa. We said, let's buy a house. This was, I don't even remember when, 2013, 2014. And then
Yeah.
realized that everything sucks. Literally, everything sucks.
Sure.
There's no, neither me nor my brother Dhiman had any real estate background. We don't come from a family of builders.
Right.
For those who don't know, real estate is a multi-generational type of, at least construction and real estate is a very multi-generational type of business. It's not a tech company. It's
Yeah.
not a consumer company.
Right.
That you have an idea or, you can start.
You don't read about real estate startups or developer-based led
The
startups.
skill set's so different, right? Like, at least in real estate 1.0, which I think ended with the advent of RERA and demonetization. So at least till 10 years ago, there was real estate 1.0, where a builder was, not everyone, you still had real
Of course.
superstars who are still superstars today.
Correct.
But there was the large cohort of builders were people whose skill set was not building, right? It was not customer service, it wasn't design,
Yeah.
it wasn't the ability to execute something mind-blowing. It was the ability to handle a certain ecosystem,
Yeah.
get permissions. You were in a secular bull market in real estate for 20, 25, 30 years. So you then leveraged a plot. You didn't build that plot. You pre-sold that plot.
Correct.
It didn't matter because the buyer didn't matter, but then you use that to get another set of permission. And of course, RERA's cleaned up a lot of that and
Right.
so on and so forth. But at that time, and therefore,
Was there era when Isprava launched?
no, RERA came in much.
Came a little after.
It came after, right?
Right.
And that was a builder, right? And of course, you have a cohort that was there then and that was there today. That
Yeah.
are just I mean, some of these builders, across in Mumbai, Bangalore, and Delhi are real superstars. They
Sure.
execute well. They have
Yeah.
the marketing down. The Rahejas, right?
Right.
Mind-boggling.
Unbelievable execution. Yeah.
Everything. They run like they're my heroes, right? They run like a international conglomerate.
It's incredible.
Think about what Neil and Ravi have done. Like, they built a hospitality franchise. They built a, which is world class. They built a retail franchise,
Yeah.
world class, a commercial franchise, and they're just unbelievable. But
I'll just add
count
one
them.
thing. I'd met him like 4 or 5 months ago for a piece of land.
Yeah.
And we met subsequently to finalize that. They ended up buying it. He came to that meeting with a pen and a paper.
Yeah.
And the clarity of thought is incredible.
Absolutely.
But the reason I was asking about RERA is you started a real estate company which is extremely non-conventional given your startup focus. We were talking tech daily. We were talking consumer-facing brands daily. Your alternative, and I'm assuming that came out of your Goa visit, was just the bar was so low for everything that you saw product-wise, and I'm assuming people that you were dealing with wise.
100. I think, what did that experience teach us? The experience of looking to buy a home, right? That number one, real estate was and is the most disruptable sector. Think about it. Think about a customer, right? A customer who will go to a fancy hotel and the tea is not 38 degrees but 37 degrees will complain and send the tea back.
Right.
That same customer who goes and buys a 1 crore car or a 2 crore car, and if it's not perfect, will complain and send it back. But that same customer would go to a builder and get something 9 months late, not even close to what it looked like in the brochure, and still tell their friends, buy from the builder because it's only 9 months late, right? and customer satisfaction is the delta between customer expectation and what you deliver to them.
Correct.
And expectation in real estate was so low. Plus, no one had imagination, right? You went to Goa and it sucked.
Correct.
You had the local builders building stuff. You had some
Yeah.
random architect. Real estate is a disruptible sector.
Yeah.
You don't need fancy tech to disrupt it.
Right.
You just need to deliver what you promise to a customer. That's all, right? That's point one. Then we dug a little deeper, right? And we said, okay, but what's our right to win? Do we have the ability to win in Mumbai? Absolutely not. Right? Maybe not, absolutely not. Not even worth it.
Sure.
But we always had a strong belief in the what we call non-urban. Many people call it second home, but we don't call it that because,
Right.
you know,
The lines are blurring now.
the lines are blurred, and
Yeah.
I'll give you some data on that.
Yeah.
But in the non-urban market, and the belief was, as time progresses, large cohorts of people would not want to live in big cities anymore.
Right.
Right? Fundamentally, if you think about it, our cities suck and they get worse every year. Pollution in Delhi is not getting better. Pollution in Bombay is not getting better.
Correct.
Traffic is not getting better. Prices are not coming down. Population density is not getting. There's nothing that's actually getting better. Okay, we have a coastal road now, great.
Sure.
But fundamentally, right, there will be cohorts of people that say, I don't want to live in a big city anymore. And then over time, their ability to do so will get better, right?
Sure.
In 2018, Zoom existed, but no one knew about it.
Yeah.
You know, COVID allowed people to, okay, you know
Readjust.
what, Zoom works, right?
Yeah.
So not everyone, but there's a small cohort that, look, I can work from anywhere, right? Or I can work part-time from anywhere.
No,
right?
it still changed the world. People still.
It has, but that's going to continue changing, Mihir, right? If you actually think about it, it's going to continue changing because technology is only going to get better.
Right.
The second thing is the places in which we work are also developing, right? Take Goa. 10 years ago, one measly airport in South Goa that was open for a few hours because it was a defense airport.
Right.
Now you have a glistening new international world-class,
incredible.
those who haven't been, go.
Yeah.
World-class airport, right? Roads to go from north to south took 3 hours. Now have you seen the highways?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Cut time by half, 1.5 hours.
It's incredible.
Hospitals, schools. So
Really, schools and hospitals
there's a Manipal in Goa, right? 15 years ago there wasn't. There was a government hospital, which is also great, by the way.
Right.
And that's only going to get better. The same with schools. There are a whole load of international schools coming. So now think about someone, right? They say, look, do I... And let's extrapolate that to a better example. Let's extrapolate that to Alibag.
Sure.
Right? On a map, Alibag, I mean, as a crow flies, is part of Bombay, right? But think about it. 5 years ago, if you wanted to go to Alibag in July, you had to drive there.
Right.
And driving on the pothole roads was a 3-hour journey to hell.
Yeah.
Right? Then you got a Ro-Ro. So now, 365 days a year, you can take your car,
Correct.
and that 3 hours has become 1 hour.
Yeah.
Then now there's going to be a bridge. No, then there's the Atal Setu, right? Which is okay. Now that 3 hours has become 1.5 to 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Now there's going to be the Revas Karanja bridge, which will come.
Correct.
That becomes even less. The minute that happens, right? Forget the speedboat going crowd. They'll still go 6 months if they're in the speedboat. But the minute that happens, other things will happen, right?
Yeah.
The builders from the city will go there, and they're not going to build buildings. They'll build a building, they'll build a hotel, they'll build a school, they'll build a hospital.
Very true.
Then there'll be a restaurant. Then people will, and what's the mindset then in Alibag, right? Think about, forget the billionaire. Think about the professional. Think about someone working in Lower Parel in a private equity job,
Yeah.
and they're not from Bombay.
Sure.
My lifestyle requires me to live a certain way. If I have to live that way, I need to buy a 50 crore flat in Mumbai.
Sure.
Right? 30 to 50 crore flat in Mumbai.
Right.
If I rent that 30 to 50 crore flat, the rental yield that I'm calculating on the back end is 1%.
Sure.
So maybe I should do that. And then, maybe not for 30 to 50 crores, but maybe for 15 crores, right? For half the price,
Right.
I can live, I don't know what, 45 minutes away from my office.
Sure.
Which I'm doing anyway because I'm renting in Bandra.
Correct.
So I'm going to live 45 minutes away from the office. But I get a garden. I live in nature.
Yeah.
I can, whatever,
The space.
grow vegetables.
Cleaner air.
My kid can play football.
Yeah.
I have my own pool. Today, tough to reach to. Today, tough. There's no social infrastructure. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
The same way it's happened in Goa. And now coming to my data point, right? In Goa today, 30% of our buyers are primary or semi-primary buyers.
No way.
These are tech guys who say, look, I can code out of anywhere. So why the hell should I be in Gurgaon?
Yeah.
Why should I be in Bangalore? I can be in Goa. I can do it off the beach.
Right.
Right? And by the way, if I have to catch a flight, now I have an international airport.
Flights out to London on a daily basis. It's
London,
crazy.
but I'm saying I need to give my meetings in Bombay. 16 flights a day. I'll catch a flight. I'll pay $3,000-4,000. I have to reach there 1 hour before. My home is 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
I'll do the meet. I'll fly back. But by the way, I'll still go to the beach in the morning. I'll still have a garden. I'll still, and Goa's social infrastructure. I'll eat at better restaurants at half the price. My kids now have a school. If my parents are sick, they can go to hospital. And it's not for everyone, but that'll increase.
Yeah. No, but we're talking about this past a decade into this. But at the time, 2011, 2012, maybe this didn't start with the intention of a business, but that was the insight that you got from your visits that compounded. And at that time, it was a very contrarian view.
Absolutely.
Very, very contrarian. Just like maybe even some people would talk about Alibag today. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
So, like, you have to still convince people about it. How did that... So just to, before we move into specifics and all those different, I just want to talk about how your mind worked in the early days, right? Because you're fresh back into India, you're looking for opportunities, you started a company, and frankly, Themis was doing really well on many accords, just like you said yourself, like on maybe 50, if your report card is on 10 metrics, on 6 metrics, you're killing it. So how did you then find the motivation to build another business? How did you go about executing on it? From, what was going through your mind in those early days of, okay, like, this is how I'm going to, play it out? Because, and again, every startup book that you'd have read or, every convention that we'd have gone to will talk about focus. And I remember you even telling me, I was talking to my dad and he was talking about Mukesh Ambani, and I still remember this, saying that, Mukesh is not going to, do 50 of his businesses. He'll find a way. And at the same time, a VC, or, at that time, everyone was optimizing for the next fundraise, right? Because that's just the narrative that was just shoved down everyone's throat. So the business you chose was quite contrarian. Your view was quite contrarian. And I feel, we'll obviously get into specifics, but even how you executed on it was quite different from the typical person. So what was going on in your mind? Did this truly happen by chance, just by the nature of the person that you are? Or was it someone advising you? And at the same time, I want to just talk about this for a second. You said a very important thing at the beginning of this episode. You said, listen, you started or felt like you wanted to be an entrepreneur because you just felt that you were shit at your job. I think that's a very, very interesting point. And maybe people don't have the ability to speak that truth to themselves, let alone on a public platform. But that's something I think that I found this as a common trait amongst all entrepreneurs. They're just unemployable. Either they're stupid.
No, there are many who are very employable.
No, but just like there's a little eccentric in certain ways,
Yeah.
I just feel as obviously there are exceptions to everything. I just feel like that's been an underlying kind of thought. So how do you internalize that, accept that, and figure out that that's what you want to do? That's one thing I want to talk about. And second is, how did you go about making decisions in the early days of how to operationally go about doing these things?
So I think on the first point, wanting to be an entrepreneur was just something that I knew since I was a kid. It was just a thing. Like, that's how I was brought up, right? There was never a question, like, there might be a kid whose entire family are doctors. They're going to become a doctor, right? And it's never been a thing, right? That's kind of how I felt about it.
So a lot of it is with your dad, and because I know that he's a big hero of yours. So
my dad, granddad. I mean, it was never anything else, right? Like when I, I'll segue here and you can delete it. But
no,
in the 10th grade ICSE, and people might remember this, you have to 20% of 80% was the board exam, 20% you have to do a biology journal. Where you have to draw an animal cell or a plant cell or some. I obviously didn't do it. I gave it to one of my friends to do, and she and her mom did it for me. And then the teacher said, who did this for you? I said, my friend did it. So she called my dad, right? And she said, listen, that's cheating, plagiarism. You can't, he had to have drawn the cells. And my dad in front of her turned to me and said, wait, do you want to be a biologist? I said, no. Do you want to be a doctor? What do you want to be? I said, I want to be an entrepreneur. And this was when I was 15. And then he turned to her and said, this is it. He has found the right person to do the job better than him. He has delegated to the person. So I'm actually proud of him. You do what you want. I'm not going to scold him, right? That's awesome. A true story. And my biology teacher at school didn't know what to do. So she gave me a great score. But that was literally how I was brought up.
Yeah.
So I was 15. It didn't matter. He said, you banged it, man. You found the right person. She did the job better than you. She was happy to do it. In
Correct.
fact, you got a mom to do it. So great convincing skills. Okay, cool. If you wanted to be a doctor, I'll school, but you don't, right?
Yeah.
That delegation is one of the
Yeah.
keys.
So
it was
innate.
right?
Yeah.
In my genes. And now coming to the Isprava point, right? I think there was no grand plan at the beginning. The beginning was everything sucks. Let's just bang it, right? Forget the P&L, forget everything.
Right.
Let's just build the best freaking product possible.
Right.
That's all.
Sure.
We made hundreds of mistakes. I still remember clearly our first home, the roof sucked.
This was Villa
Branco.
Branco.
Our roof sucked. It
Huh.
was leaking, it was this. And we had a Bollywood couple that came in and made an offer to buy it. But then through the diligence, we're like, listen, your roof sucks. Right? I'm not going to buy it. And then and then we sold it, but with a sucky roof.
Right.
And at which point, and we were out of money by then, but at which point, one of my friends' dads, Anand's dads, Ajay Piramal, I was chatting with him and he said, and I told him this, and he said, Nibhrant, I don't care if you don't have money.
Right.
You are going to go and fix that bloody roof.
Sure.
Right? And we went back to the buyer and we're like, hey, listen, I know you bought the home. Your roof sucks. You don't know it.
Right.
So before next monsoon, I'm going to pay the 25 lakhs to change your roof.
Right.
The roof got better. It still sucks because we didn't have the experience then, but it's much better. But the point is, we did that, right? And
Sure.
that automatically became the DNA of the company, which was, listen, we will build the best product and we will just be obsessed with our customer.
Right.
Forget the P&L. That will fall into place. And if you're able to do that in any business, ultimately you win as long as you're not stupid. And if you do that in real estate, the chances of winning are a lot more because no one else is doing it.
Sure.
At least in other businesses, some people are doing it, right?
Right.
And you're kind of here the bar was so low.
Yeah.
So that is a core fundamental philosophy.
Right.
But and that's what kind of drove it all, right? So our product, I mean, you go to an Isprava product, it's banging. It's amazing.
Okay.
And if there's a mistake, and there will be mistakes, I mean, every business makes mistakes. As long as it's legitimate,
Yeah.
we will go out of our way, whether
Solve
it's
for it.
in a
No,
contract
we've seen
or
it.
not, to solve for it. Because ultimately, that's what matters. Then everything falls into place.
Yeah.
Right? And if you see how we've grown, Mihir, that's how it happened. And we started as a hobby. We built one home. We sold one home. Ran out of money. Took a loan. Got lucky to sell a second home.
Right.
Took a loan. Got lucky to sell a third home.
Yeah.
But then by the third guy, he told two friends.
Yeah.
And those two friends who told two friends. And they were like, these are the guys.
Correct.
Right? Because ultimately you can close your eyes. And we were selling homes, 10 crore homes without floor plans. Right? I mean, I remember in the height of COVID, we had a project in North Goa that had a GDV of about 300 odd crores. So not a large, but not a small project.
Sure.
350 crores, about 15, 19, 20 homes. We bought it, we bought the land, and we sold out all 20 homes the next day without a floor plan.
What?
Without a floor plan. We just told people you can buy here. Literally.
Nice.
And we will give you a 4,000 square foot home.
And this was at what stage of the business? Around.
No, by now we were mature, but
Right.
the point is, we did over 300 crores of sales in a project without floor plans. Just by telling them your plot size will be so big, your home size will be so big. Now leave it to us.
No, I just meant this was when you built out Isprava by constantly delivering on the promise of what you were talking.
Exactly, right? That's the only way. So when people talk about the brand, oh, your brand. What is our brand? Our brand is the fact that we are giving you our all. We are leaving no stone unturned. We will give you whatever is fair. We will delight you beyond belief. And at every step of the way, we will look to improve. That's a brand. A brand is not a brochure, man. The
Sure.
brand is not a logo. That's just an add-on. Now,
Sure.
people get confused. Oh, a brand. It's not, right?
Sure.
A brand is your product. It's your service. It's what you give a customer,
Right.
right? And that is our obsession in our company. And that's what everyone does.
It's great to hear you say this because and you were saying this earlier also, I think Themis was great for all of us. And just like, you started Themis, you're not an accountant,
Yeah.
right? And your insight into it was from that of an entrepreneur's view. And sharpening customer service. I mean, at our peak, we had like 450 odd customers.
Right.
And the who's who of that startup segment, right? So what I understand from Isprava is that we've brought not only professionalism but customer service and obsession, which has truly
100.
which is what is
That goes
actually
beyond
let
any
you
real- absolutely.
let you
And not
think.
only customer, any stakeholder. You talk to anyone we buy land from.
Right.
No one will say anything, but they'll say it's Isprava. We will get deals no one else does because
Correct.
they know if we say something, we'll do it, right? Any consultant, any vendor. Because ultimately, we're building for the next 50 years, 60 years. Nothing else matters, right? And if you do that, maybe your growth in 1 year will be slower. Maybe your P&L will look worse.
Sure.
Maybe if we didn't fix that first roof, that year our numbers would have been better. But would that customer have told 3 others? Maybe not, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but most likely not.
Yeah.
So that's what's important.
Right. No, thanks for that. Thanks for that, Nib. So, we've gotten to a point where you're back. You started your first business, which was successful in its own right. You started focusing a lot more on Isprava, I'm sure, because the scale of it is obviously something totally different.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see huge successes, right?
Yeah.
We'll break down the business and like specific elements, but how did you, and again, you started this from scratch, right? Like that's important for everybody watching here to know is he started a real estate business totally on his own. This is not some family business that's kind of come down. So,
and Dhiman has also.
no. But what I mean is, everyone, of course, in the family, Dhiman's been a key part. In fact, he had double stress at the time with Isprava and Stylecracker.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, just like how you were doing Themis. So it must have been a pretty crazy time. But I want to just kind of talk about how you got out of the early days, and there's a point where you feel I don't know. I definitely don't feel it. But I'm sure you felt it in some way that shit, like I've got the brand here, I've made it happen, X at this X level, or it's surpassed what maybe my initial even, punt on this was. But to move it from the first 3, 4, 5 homes to where you felt that feeling, I think would have been a good 10 years.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how we broke this down operationally. You spoke about product. Yeah. Again, you're not an architect. You're not an interior designer. I know you for someone who has a lot of OCD about things, whether your water bottle would be perfectly placed on your desk or what time Archana would come to sign the check. Or your driver is driving badly, you just get after him. But so I know you for being that person. And I've sat at the front of the car, doing my Themis calls, and you've been on the line with the architect and someone who's doing interior, someone doing permissions. So how did you go about really moving this from what was 1, 2, 3 homes, or I'm just calling them transactions, right, to building a company? What was that switch, and how did you go about making that happen?
So I think for the first 3 to 4 years, Isprava was a hobby.
3 to 4 years?
Yeah, because a home takes 1.5 years to build.
Sure.
So 3 to 4 years means we have built 3 homes.
Right.
And I think 2 things happened at the time. One is I realized that we need to raise money. So I reached out to someone called Piyush Voda. My friend Sahil actually connected me to him.
Right.
Piyush Voda is a legend in real estate. And I was like, hey, I want to raise money. I build homes in Goa. You're like, are you mad? I don't even know you. I mean, I'm Sahal's friend, but no.
Sure.
How much do you want to raise? I don't know. And then put down the phone, and then I WhatsApped him an image of one of our homes we built. He called me back immediately and said, come and meet me.
Right.
And Piyush Bhai was then like, look, I'm going to help you raise this money. But what he did for us was game changing. He said, don't raise equity in the company. Don't dilute for growth. Set up a asset light model.
Sure.
Where you set up SPVs that buy land, that's someone else's balance sheet.
Right.
You kind of use your balance sheet for the other stuff.
Right.
And that was the first thing that made me realize that, hey, listen, in the early days of a real estate company like us, nothing matters except IRR and cash flow. In the early days, right? And that changes over time.
Right.
For a business like us. So suddenly cash flow and IRR became our obsession. And we started this asset light kind of model where we started raising money for projects, but we weren't diluting in the company.
Right.
And that helped us to scale.
Sure.
Because every project needed less money from us, right?
Right.
Because it was financed by customers, it was financed by investors, and so on and so forth. Then we had a customer, number 3 or 4, Rohan, who's now on our board and a co-founder in the business. But Rohan bought a home. He was in Hong Kong looking to move back from India. And without seeing the land, he just bought a home.
Huh.
And he said,
I didn't know he was a customer of yours.
that's how we met.
Okay.
So I sent him photos of the land. He said, okay, done. How much? I said, whatever, I don't remember, 6
Amazing.
crores. He said, okay, here's the money.
Huh.
And 1 year later, he walked into the home like, wow, I never believed this would happen, right?
Correct.
And he said, what the hell are you doing? In his words, it was Singapore-style execution in India,
Right.
right? And he said, look, I'm going to get together a bunch of friends and I'm going to raise money for you in the company. So these two things happened. We had the project level money and then we had the company level money.
Right.
So Rohan put his own money and his brother and his friends and all these bankers from New York and Hong Kong and God knows what. And then a few of our customers as well.
Sure.
And we went to our customers. And then that's how we raised money. But these were like 50 lakh and 1 crore checks. We raised some 12 crores from, I don't even know, like so many 20, 30 people who were writing
Crazy.
50 lakh and 10 lakh checks.
Right.
Whoever we met, we would say, come on, give me 10. You know, it was literally like me, what do you do to me, right?
Yeah.
Give me 20 lakhs, give me 5 lakhs, give me 10 lakhs.
Correct.
And that's how we raised our first round, right? We raised, I think it was 12 crores, I might be wrong on the number. And then, and that's when we said, okay, now we're responsible to people. So now we need this hobby to become a business.
Sure.
It was at that time that we also then did the transfer over of Themis to you and Rehan. And,
Correct.
And it became Savage and Palmer, etc.
Right.
So that's when we realized that it needs to, be something serious and be a serious business.
Yeah.
But I think so that was kind of hurdle one, right? And that's when we said, look, this needs to be a business. So, I hired a team. Ishan moved from Themis to Isprava.
Yeah.
And etc. I think then there was a second kind of turning point, right? Where, and if you actually look at Isprava's journey, I think we're in phase 3 or, ending phase 3 now. Phase 1 was super small team, very, very promoter driven.
Right.
And everyone did everything. Phase 2 was slightly larger team, generalists.
Right.
And everyone did everything, but the team did more than,
The promoter is driving everything.
right? And now we're in phase 3, which is the specialist phase, right?
Right.
And I think as time goes on, that'll kind of, as we move into phase 4, that'll kind of evolve as well. And I think, so that's when it comes to the team. And I think when it comes to the business, there was the fundraise at project level, our first project level fundraise, our first equity level fundraise, and we did a few more. I think the second stage came when it was almost simultaneously COVID plus a private equity raise. Till then, we were quite focused on only raising family office and individual money.
Right.
And again, there's a thought process behind that.
Yeah. And just the majority of it was at a project level, or did we keep taking in equity at the company?
So we did 3 raises of equity.
Right.
Through family office and individual company equity.
Right.
Again, reason for that is we wanted to fortify the balance sheet. We wanted to take part in land acquisition in some cases as well. But again, that money was never institutional money. It was always family office money.
Right.
And there was a reason for that. It's because we knew we were building categories, right? Isprava is a new category.
Right.
Nothing existed like it, right? Lohono is a new category. Nothing exists like it. And when you build new categories, there's going to be a lot of mistakes. Right? Plus, we're building luxury or super luxury. And when you're building super luxury, sometimes the balance sheet shouldn't matter in the early days, right?
Right.
I harped on that earlier. The brand matters, the product matters, the service matters. And the minute you get institutional money, you're on that roller coaster. And it's not a roller coaster that we believe works for either a luxury company or any company building a new category. I think that, you need to be able to...
It's a stage life cycle thing.
It's a life cycle thing, and a family office is patient. A family office allows you to do what you want. Your family office, I'm going to use a term, and we didn't ever pivot, but it at least allows you to maneuver away from any stated path at any given point in time whenever you require, right? And it was only in 2022 that we said, look, now we're ready for institutional money.
Sure.
Where we raised our first private equity round. And so again, coming to the phases, there was that, then there was a second phase, which was COVID. COVID actually crystallized our beliefs, right?
Yeah.
It made us realize and made the world realize what we always believed, that
Sure.
why the hell are you living in cities? Come and buy homes elsewhere.
Yeah.
And large cohorts started. Pre-COVID, I think in 2019, 0.3% of our buyers were primary or semi-primary buyers.
Wow.
By
So that-
2024, that's become 30%.
That's crazy.
Right? And the same with the Lohono business. And for those who don't know, Lohono is our hospitality business.
Right.
And again, we had Lohono, but people never wanted to live in villas. They didn't understand it. They said, look, I'll go to the Taj, I'm going to get a certain type of service, I'm going to, and a homeowner said, I don't want someone sleeping in my bed. Then suddenly homeowners realized, shit, I'm sleeping in someone's bed because in COVID I can't go to a hotel.
Right.
And a guest thought, you know what, I'm getting hotel level service in a villa.
Yeah.
I'm not being told what to do. I can eat breakfast whenever I want. I can wake up whenever I want. I can wear my pajamas. I don't need to get dolled up
100%.
to wait in the breakfast line. I can swim whenever I want. I'm not being told by the security guard. etc.
Correct.
And by the way, I'm doing all that with my friends. I'm not sharing the pool or the buffet line.
Yeah.
Right. And so COVID was a turning point for both businesses, which allowed the world to see what we knew, but we weren't in any way able to.
Yeah.
And then there was and then the third one was raising private equity money, which had to make us professionalize a lot more, which had to make us, get really, really serious. That has put us on a path to an IPO, which we'll, kind of look to do in the next 4 to 5 years, right?
Amazing.
But that's kind of how we went from a hobby to
a professionally run large business. No, I think there's two sides to that coin, right? One is the market catching up to your hypothesis, and then you operationally tweaking to be able to make sure that you're at the top of your game to be consistent. Right? I guess that's what it is. Did you, and we'll jump into like specifics, but just one thing I want to just say, intuition is also very, very important, right? And you've always been great at this because we've had that list of 50 ideas and you would hate my ideas the most. And correctly so, looking back. I've always felt your intuition is very, very strong and good. How much of a role did that play? Because there's I don't think, like me, even I'm not like this. I don't know how to study the market and tell, acha, this is the market size and these are the 100 shares that I have and I'll enter like this and this is how I'll expand. I think even you don't think like that. Yeah. And you definitely didn't think like that with Isprava, right? Yeah. But we spoke about the journey and the phases. When you started to where you are now, did you start with a hypothesis beyond what we discussed?
No.
Was there any numerical data that you studied? What was it?
Mir, it's always what we've always told each other. The best way to start a business is to start a business, right? Look, a company of our side, I shouldn't be saying, but a company of our side now should be using the consultants and the strategy teams. But every step of the way, right? We started Isprava because we started Isprava. We just believe that we could be better than anyone else. Did we study the TAM of Goa? Absolutely not.
Right.
Were there people buying? I mean, think about it. The most expensive home sold by a builder in Goa till we came was 3 crores of rupees.
That's insane.
The first home we sold was 11 crores. Every broker went to said, I don't know if you remember this, but in 2012, 2013, 11 crore flats were not selling in Bombay.
Yeah, I remember this.
Right? So it wasn't any research. It was just like, look, we're going to build something great and I'm sure we have to sell one. But the key to starting, and we always say this, is to start. So with Isprava, we started. With Lohono, we started.
Right.
With the chapter, which is, our new, we started. We're now launching our first club, our members club.
Fantastic.
We started. We've not gone and, we've had to do it because now we have investors. So we made but fundamentally we've started, right? But when we started, we didn't do 2 or 3 things that other people do, right? What we didn't do was raise a lot of money to start.
Yeah.
What we didn't do was go and say, okay, now let's go build the Taj Mahal or build a 100-acre development. We built one home.
Sure.
We made mistakes. Then we built a second home. We made mistakes and we built a third home.
Right.
The same with Lohono. Lohono was never Lohono. Lohono was Isprava rental.
Right.
Where what we first did was we took 5 Isprava built homes and we tested out, managed, made mistakes, got guests in, made mistakes, but we started.
Sure.
Right? We didn't study the market. Then what we did was, okay, now let's study the supply side. So we went to Alibag and we took 3 homes that were not built by us. And we said, okay, now let's learn the homeowners not in Isprava.
Right.
And we learned. And then so all that started in, I think it was late 2018.
Yeah.
And Lohono became a brand in November 2019. So it took us a year of doing, but the key was starting. Right?
I understand.
And now when we look at new business, etc., like now we have a strategy team.
I understand.
So we listen to them.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we start.
Right.
If our intuitions are, we start. And ultimately, what is intuition, right? It's some sort of innate muscle memory, I assume.
No, perfect. Thanks for sharing that. I think more people need to get out of their own head when it comes to stuff like this. So hearing,
But what's the worst case, right? You lose some money, you shut down. But
yeah,
but that's the case, right? The reality, Mihir, is if you just get started,
yeah,
actually your business won't be what you thought it would be.
100%.
Right? Like
100%.
if you told me that we'd be selling over 1,000 crores or whatever our number is this year, a little more than 1,000 crores worth of homes in Goa 10 years ago.
Insane.
If you forget telling me, if you told anyone, they think we're crazy. But we never thought we'd do that. We just said, let's just build just the most banging homes and make our customers happy, and
Right.
whatever will happen, will happen. Right?
I hear you. No, thanks for that. I think it's just something that I want entrepreneurs to think about and internalize maybe a little more. No, so just picking up from where you left, you weren't necessarily a product person at Themis.
Yeah.
You aren't necessarily a trained architect, interior person.
No.
How did you go about approaching product? Isprava did something quite new and different with product, right? How did you really approach that? And let's talk, because I remember you building it on certain foundational principles. Some of them have escaped me, so please, I'll let you talk about it. But again, you started very interesting. You started viewing this from a customer standpoint. It was never from the designer standpoint.
Yeah.
So how did you put that together, and how has your product thesis evolved? Because Isprava chapter in its own right, of course, Lahono is hospitality, so I'm just viewing it as service to every asset that you build. But there's a design language for everything that comes out, and I think that you're quite involved in all of it.
Yeah. 2-3 things, right? My dad ran an IT company, and my dad still doesn't know how to turn on a computer, right? And he always said that was his great advantage because he was never obsessed. It was an IT training company, right? So they taught people how to learn various softwares, hardware, network. This is in the 90s. And he always said his greatest advantage was not knowing how to turn on a computer because he was never obsessed with what the right technology is, right? He said, I don't care if MS-DOS is better. I don't care if an Apple computer is better than I don't care.
Sure.
I care about the market trend, where it's going, and so I can maximize business. And I think that's helped us as well, right? I think in Themis it helped us. We weren't caught up in the accounts.
Sure.
I don't think I don't even know accounts, right? We didn't care about debit and credit. We cared about hiring the right people who knew that and then giving the customer a service that no CA firm could provide.
Correct.
Right? And it's the same here. And technical people, right? And I always tell, an architect or interior designer, what is their dream? They build a house to be on the cover of the Architectural Digest.
Sure.
Does that work for a customer? Hell no. Because if something looks more beautiful, but the rainwater comes in, I don't care because I'm on the cover of AD and let the homeowner deal with the leakage or with the flooring that has stains after 3 use or 3 uses or whatever it is, right? And I think we managed to kind of solve for that, right? As we speak today, we are building 600 unique homes, right? We have built, I don't know, 200 or 300 homes.
Right.
So we have built more unique homes and done interiors than any interior design firm in India.
Sure.
I'll take the top 3
Hands down.
Right? And we've actually executed. These aren't theoretical.
Sure.
So we know what works. We know what doesn't work. And we kind of stick to that. And then there's a design language, right? Which is, we allow people to express, we allow our designers to really express themselves within that framework, right? So we provide the guardrails and say, look, practicality first. It has to work for the next 150 years, right? This material has to last for the next 150 years.
Right.
And these are our rules. And we've created these strict protocols and we build technology around it and everything else, right? Like our WCs, our pots at a certain height, right? Because we know an Indian's leg is shorter than Americans. I don't care what the American standard is. Right?
Correct.
It doesn't matter.
Sure.
Right? And like that, we have, 2,000 or 3,000 protocols that you have to follow.
Crazy. Right.
Right? Whatever that might be. If it's the grandparents' room, the bed has to be higher because, they can't. And like that. There are thousands of these protocols around materials, blah, blah, blah. Those are the guardrails. Then we tell designers, go wild within those guardrails.
Right.
Right? You are not in any way controlled by a customer, because if that same designer goes to you a flat in Bombay or some customer's house in Delhi or Bangalore, that customer is now giving them gyan on what they want from a design perspective, and that can never be, because the vision of the designers then impeded so much, right, and constrained so much by the end customer, who stays frankly sucks.
Sure.
Right. So we tell a customer, listen, as Isprava, you've come to me because I'm the best. I'll allow you to fill up a form. I understand
your nuances.
Grown grandparents in a wheelchair.
Because when you say it's uniquely, these homes are totally unique, the designs are still very much controlled by you.
Completely controlled by us. We allow you to fill up a form, so we know that broadly this is the broader language you like. So you like something that's very Greek.
Right.
I'm not going to give you something that's dark, right? And vice versa, right? Or, you have some people who love marble. Okay, cool, I'll give it to you, but I won't give it to you in a typical way. Now you leave that to me.
Sure.
Right? And that allows our designers to really, really create.
That's a big one.
Within the guardrails, right? Without being told by a customer, let's go shopping for a tile, or let me lie on that bed.
Otherwise, it would be an impossible proposition.
The best in the world at what we do, allow us to do that.
Right.
Right? And that's how our design has evolved over time. That's how our design, I like to believe, is some of the best. Our homes may not look as good in photos as other stuff, but that's because the other stuff most likely is not going to work in 1 year.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. There's a fine balance.
It will work for 150 years, right? But again, and the many homes that we do actually look better than anything else. But again, that's very subjective.
Right.
But Meet, when you talk about product, our product is not only a beautiful home. Because that's subjective.
So I remember that being, at least when we were in the same office, right, for a good 3-4 years, that was it's the most beautiful home. Made by the best architects, the best designers. That was the pitch.
Yeah.
Has that evolved? Has that changed?
No, that's still the pitch.
Right.
Right. But beauty is so subjective. What's beautiful to me is not to you. It's like food.
Right.
It's like anything else. It's subjective, right? Yeah. But so how did we think about it? When you talk about the product, it's not only the home. The product is the customer service around the home.
Sure.
Right? The way my sales guy is treating you, the experience you get, the way my marketing person is treating you, the way my legal team is treating you, the way the accounts team is treating you. The product is the other service. What is my moat? Okay, not only are you buying a home from us, we're managing it and maintaining it for you, not in a superficial way, in a very, very deep way, the same way maybe a hotel would have done it if your home was a hotel. We run your accounts. We do it deeply. And then, by the way, we're making it a profit center.
Yeah.
And now
that's a big one. How much of a role did that play in making those?
Because a person ultimately, right, is making a decision, it's not only a beautiful home, right? Okay, now I have to manage this home. And by the way, my home in Bombay is such a pain to manage.
I think this is really interesting.
And my home in Delhi is such a pain to manage.
Exactly. You took the actual pain of not only building, but also understood your customers' requirements, saying, hey, you've got the great home, but now what? Then probably not using it all the time.
Again, doing it better than they are doing it in their own homes. In Bombay or Delhi or Bangalore or Singapore.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of customers, we get, hey, can you run my primary home? And we're like, no way, right? We're doing it. And then we say you monetize it, because then people do the math. Oh, if I buy this home, and no one believes a home will appreciate it. There's been crazy appreciation. So they do some sort of math, right? And they're like, oh, but then I can go and stay in the Amman or Mandarin Oriental 10 days in the year. Why should I do it, right? And there's only so much you can pick someone's capital appreciation. But if I tell them, look, I'm making it a profit center for you. Right? It's not a cost center. Don't do this as an investment.
Sure.
But definitely do it to make this a profit center.
Sure.
And the minute you can do that, right, you've then kind of built moats around it. And look, many people, everything we do get copied, right? We have so many wannabe Ispravas across, but no one can do all of this. Someone might build a home that's a copy of an old Isprava. There are builders in Goa that you walk through and people are like, wait, is that an Isprava home from the outside? I'm like, no, it's a copy of one of the homes we built 7 years ago.
Right.
And then they go into the interiors and you can see, look, there is that difference, right?
Oh, for sure.
But they're trying to copy it, right? Then you say, okay, we manage it for you. But then when you dig deep, are they truly managing it? No. Then they say, okay, we're going to, we'll also monetize it. But, all these things, and the customer
layered together.
No one can do it. No one's been able to do it, right? And therefore we get a premium, a significant premium to anyone else.
No, understood. I think the interesting thing here is, as a product first company, most people as builders, again, you're in the market, would have typically 11 crore check, done, good luck, goodbye. And those are you've extended your relationship with the customer. You've used that as a way to make one customer 5.
Yeah.
And you've not only extended your working relationship, but you also monetized that and spun off a whole new brand.
Of course.
So that's something that's really interesting. Just out of curiosity, on the product side, I'm assuming you have a large team of people that are in-house, but you also work with external folks.
Yeah.
If someone wants to work with you, can they approach you directly? How can they write into your take on new designers? How does that work?
Yeah, it depends. You have to be very good, like really, really good. There are a lot of architects and designers out there. You have to be very, very good.
Right.
We work with external architects and designers, mainly international ones, up to a certain level. Right?
Sure.
So we'll get a concept. But then we have a 300-person architecture and design team in-house.
Right.
That does all the work, or 90% of the work. That 10% we like working with external because they bring in fresh ideas, they bring in fresh thoughts, they bring in, it helps us evolve.
Yeah.
We bring in some cases, even best practices. But it's not the core of what the core is in-house.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. We'll talk a little bit about how you've built sales and marketing. Yeah. I think that's something that's very core to you.
Yeah.
Your phase 1, your promoter-driven time must have been you closing all the deals.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about I know you are so involved with the brand, with Nikila in the early days. You would come on as a consultant and do a lot of different interesting work with you. What kind of animal are you? And all these different thought-provoking exercises. You want to talk about how you went on. Now, of course, the brand is the promise, and that's a given. I think that's very established. But to be able to communicate it at scale, how did you go about crafting it? How did you go about building a sales team? Because now, if you all have a 300-member product team, I'm curious to understand how large your sales and marketing team is.
Sure.
Because it used to be 5 of us.
It was 5 of you all. I think now the sales team is for Isprava 8 to 10.
Wow.
It's not that much bigger.
Okay.
Then there's a chapter which will have its own team. And then the marketing team must be, 10, 15 people. Here's how we thought about the brand, right? Number one, we truly thought about it. We said, and let's talk about Isprava. What is Isprava as a brand, right? What does it stand for? Trust, luxury, blah, blah, right? And there are all these fancy words we used. But then we really got to brass tacks and we said, okay, how are we going to spend money and what's going to truly be bang for our buck, right? And we realized that word of mouth and references is where we're going to spend money. So funnily enough, till date, 60 to 70% of our marketing budget is spent after someone's become a customer.
That's super
So it's not top of the funnel growth.
Okay.
It's not to bring in leads.
Okay.
60 to 70% is after someone's a customer.
And you spend marketing dollars on that. You budget marketing
dollars on
Okay.
that, right? So you come in as a customer. Now I'm going to spend money on you.
Okay.
Because you are going to be my agent to call 3 of your friends. Look, remember 2 or 3 things, right? I mean, our average price in Isprava is 12 crores. Average. We start at 7, we go up to 40, 50.
Right.
Right? Dig a little deeper. That's $1.5 million.
Sure.
$1.5 million on a holiday home. That means that the average person buying a home from us, their primary home in Delhi or Bombay or whatever, is at least 5 to 6 times that.
Sure.
50 crore.
Sure.
We are not in advertising. You'll never see a hoarding.
Sure.
You'll never see a newspaper ad.
Right.
You'll never see any of that. Rich people know rich people. Just give them the best freaking service.
Right.
Spend time, spend money, and they will tell people. And that's fundamentally how it works. If you see our CAC, right? Last year was what? 0.85, right? A typical 0.85 a CAC to AOV of average of sales. A typical real estate business is what, 5 to 6%?
That's crazy.
We are 0.85%. And these are not small numbers anymore. But that's because we always thought about it differently. We said, look, we will take our time. Could an ad maybe bring us more revenue?
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Would a hoarding bring us more? Definitely. But that's not what we'll do because we're building a luxury brand. And that takes time. By the way, if we had a VC or PE, we wouldn't
have that luxury.
Right? It should be going crazy. And that's exactly what we did. And we spent the time and we spent the money on that. And we continue to do that.
Can you give us some examples of how you spend that? Like what kind of, just to make it a little specific and tangible for people watching?
Sure.
Like what is that, like how do you spend 60% of money on I don't think people have ever thought of spending money on driving word of mouth referrals.
Yeah.
It's obviously very product driven, and then you hope that your product's going to do and your service is going to do its job. But then how do you be intentional about it from a marketing and sales communication perspective?
It could vary. We could host meals for owners with Michelin star chefs. It could be when Lambo came out with their new car a few years ago, our owners were taken on a trip to rip around various race courses
Nice.
in 3 different parts of India.
Right.
It could mean gifting. There's a whole various things
Sure.
that we do.
Right.
Right.
So
And
just ensuring that your customers are living the life that you're really selling to them
absolutely.
and truly making the most of it.
Absolutely.
Understood.
But that takes time.
Yeah.
That takes energy. That takes effort.
Yeah.
That does not show on your ROI calculator ever.
Yeah.
Right? You can hypothesize, but it doesn't.
Sure.
And then of course we do the other stuff. We'll do performance. We'll do other stuff.
Right.
But look, here I'm talking about Isprava, and Lohono is completely different. Right? Lohono is a
segment.
hospitality brand. You're driving sales. There, my CAC to AOV is significantly higher.
Sure.
And so on and so forth. So it depends on the company, depends on the brand, and it's kind of how you do it.
Absolutely.
The sales team.
Yeah.
We don't recruit from real estate. We believe real estate training is a different kind of training.
Sure.
Great, but we are more consultative. We have to understand a customer, the socio-economic background of our sales. First of all, we don't even call them our sales team. They're our customer relationship.
Right.
Has to be similar.
Right.
So, we have 2 heads of sales. Soham, I think last worked for a VC
Right.
for many years. And
Nice.
And Moyok is a hospitality guy who ran various hospitality kind of things.
Lovely.
Both are, coincidentally South Bombay boys. And that's kind of how the team's been built out.
I get it.
And we'll continue to do that. And, you have to train them then how to sell.
Yeah.
But you're not having to train a sales guy how not to topi lagao a customer to hit their...
Yeah. The culture is totally different.
It's different. And look, if someone has a 5 crore budget, but we think a 4 crore home is the right home for them, we will sell them the 4 crore home because they will buy the 5 crore home later.
Right.
Or their cousin will, or their friend will. But a typical real estate sales guy is the other way around. They have a 5 crore budget and they will try to sell the 7 crore.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And that again, I think goes against fundamentally who we are as a company.
Right. No, thanks for that. Just on the sales side, leaving those deals, those average 12 crore, 15 crore deals to your 10 boys or girls. I don't know how the team is structured, but do you do that now? Are you out of all the transactions? Who actually closes?
I'll tell you.
I'm writing a check. So how does that work?
So Dhima now looks at the revenue side.
Nice.
I used to, and then I think 2020, 2021, Dhima started looking at it.
So can a promoter truly get out of sales for real estate business?
So if I break up sales into 2 parts, right? Let's talk about top of the funnel, right? Which is bringing in customers. And by the way, our business requires all of us to bring in customers.
Correct.
And then let's talk about right at the bottom, right? Which is closing a negotiation. I think top of the funnel is everyone's role.
Right.
Everyone. We have board members who have to bring in customers. I have to bring them in. Rohan has to bring them in. Dhiman has to bring them. And, that's everyone's job. It doesn't stop. Right?
Correct.
It's the same like raising money, right? You're always
on that. Yeah.
Doing it. At the bottom of the funnel, I think most of it is done by the team. If there's a big or complex negotiation, then Dhiman or I will be involved.
Right.
But most of it is done by the team. Someone's spending a lot of money, and invariably, almost all of the time, they're buying projects that haven't even started work, right? That are just a floor plan.
Sure.
They want that confidence, right? And so you get involved to give them that confidence. I think 100%. That's about it. But I think, again, as time has gone on, as the brand's grown and become stronger, there's a lot more faith in the brand. 5 years ago, I was involved in every sale.
Right.
In every closure.
Right. 3
years ago, Dhiman, Rohan, and I were involved in every sale or every closure.
Sure.
Maybe not every, but I'd say 60 to 70%. Now that's down to just a little, and it's usually above certain price points.
Understood. No, thanks for that. I'm assuming a lot of our business, again, is still word of mouth, is still reference, is still upselling and moving kind of down that path. So that makes sense. I know we've sold homes just off ads and stuff like that, which is obviously incredible. But I'm sure, I think as entrepreneurs, you typically try and focus on what is measurable and scalable, and you miss a whole new avenue of actually talking to a customer that makes them in a way that makes them tick.
Yeah.
So that's super insightful. Just two more avenues to talk about in the business. We can just want to talk about some personal stuff. HR. You've been the best boss I've ever had. Just a great, genuinely, you know this. And I think I've seen you genuinely care about the people that work for you, right? Whether it's Bharti or whether it's Saraswati, or whether it's Minal, whether it's me still, Ishan, whatever, yeah. Even if they're horrible to you, you still find a way to be nice to them. Anyway, I can't take those names. But how have you done that? Why have you done that? Was that intentional? Is that something that you saw your dad do? Did that come to you naturally? Is that the person that you are? Did you read about it? What is it? Because a lot of the old guys are still with you, and that's the main testament to something like this. And have you seen that change and evolve in terms of Isprava's culture? Because I'm just saying we, because we were all in one office, whether it was Tycracker or Themis or Isprava, the whole group of companies. It was quite an aggressive culture.
Yeah.
Have you had to taper down? Have you had to change? Have people risen up to meet you? Talk to us about managing people. Also, why do you need so many people? I've been meaning to ask you this question. Why do you have 300 architects and only 10 sales guys? Maybe I understand the sales guy now, because the way we get customers is totally different.
It's not outbound.
It's not outbound. But why do we need 50 guys in permissions or 300 architects? Just talk to us a little bit about the people side of the business.
Sure. So let me break it up into two parts, right? I think number one, what am I good at, right? I think I'm a good startup entrepreneur. I don't think I'm a great CEO. I think they're two different skill sets. I think my instinct, my nature is to move fast, start, build, and strategize, create the concept, and do something different. But then suddenly now we have across all our companies we have almost 1,000 employees. Right? That includes down to the people serving someone in a home, but still 1,000 employees. And I think that requires a different skill set that I'm still learning.
Sure.
You can't do everything yourself. In fact, you can't do most things yourself. And things that you did much better because you were doing it, you now have to accept is not going to be as good, right? So,
Sure.
Right. But how do you build a framework around it? How do you build a training system, a recruiting system, a development and training system, a reporting system, around that?
Yeah.
I think we do well. I don't think we do very well. And that's something we're still working on.
Right.
I think when it comes to people, I don't know if I'm a great boss to everyone. I don't. Maybe, you think so. I don't think everyone thinks so. But here's what's important, right? I think fundamentally there are 2 or 3 beliefs. And this is a belief we used to talk about, right? If you come into our company, you have to leave our company 10 times better than when you came in, right? That means we're going to put pressure on you. We're going to train you. We're going to give you opportunity. We're going to expect you to do things that you didn't expect you could do.
Right.
9 out of 10 people flounder and leave. But the one that survives is going to leave 10 times better than when they came in.
Yeah.
Right? But in that process, you don't have right? It's a boxing match. You wear gloves.
Sure.
You don't hit below the belt.
Sure.
You punch each other in the ring, and then you go out and you have a beer together.
Right.
And those are the two. And you treat people with respect because ultimately they're human beings. It doesn't matter. And you know that, right? And we've seen that. And any new person that joins, we always say, if you know my name, you have to know the office boy's name. And that's just fundamentally what. And I'm not preaching here. It's just what we believe. And it may not be right. The brilliant companies built with a different culture, maybe even better companies built. I think this culture is, it's good.
Right.
Again, I don't know if it's the best for a balance sheet or P&L. It may not be.
Sure.
But ultimately, look, people are spending more time here than they are at home, at least waking hours wise. So, at least let's not make it horrible for them.
Sure.
Even though there will be cohorts who thinks it's horrible, because there is pressure, and that's life, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know if I missed anything.
No, so I think there's two things that I wanted to get out of talking about this with you. I think building and keeping a culture, say when we were in the Ghatkopar office, right? And it wasn't 1,000 people. It was what?
No, whatever, 30 people.
30 people, 30, 35 people. That versus you growing so exponentially, doing 600 homes now and having done 400, 300, 400 homes already. So how do you, as an entrepreneur, I'm assuming that maybe this keeps you up at night. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you're not okay with something not being done up to scratch.
Absolutely.
It must be bugging the shit out of you.
Absolutely.
So how do you make peace with that, number one? Do you make peace with that? And how do you scale culture? Because we had a very strong culture. And that I think that is the main essence, right, of keeping this going forever.
Okay, so here's what.
Do you have a toolkit for something like this? Do you play it by ear? How do you do this?
I'll tell you what we try to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works or not.
Okay.
I think in our early days when we were together, right, we were 20, 30 people, and I think everyone was just very good at what they did, and everyone had time with each other, and everyone, and all levels, it was very flat, right? Like,
yeah,
when you're 30 people, you can deal with the executive and spend a lot of time with them. Now you can't, because there are 5 layers and there are 800 people in between. I think, what do we try to do? And we try to be in the weeds. A lot of business, and again, I'm not saying we're right, but a lot of business books say delegate, etc. But I think what Dhiman, me, Rohan, what we try to do is be really in the weeds, right? And being in the weeds means being close to, or try to be as close to all levels as possible.
Right.
Right. I may not know everyone's name in the company, but I'll know most names, right?
Sure.
Across bands. I'll broadly know how they work, and they will at some point in time have exposure to me or Dhiman or Rohan or all 3 of us. Culture ultimately comes from us, and how we do it, and that kind of gets reflected, right? I don't need to know anyone from your team to know the type of person who will be in Brego, right? They will hustle all day, right? I'm talking about your culture now.
Right.
They will hustle all day. There'll be a huge element of positivity, and there will be radical transparency, right? That's a Mihir style. That means if he thinks someone's a fool, he's going to say someone's a fool, right? And he's not going to hold back. And that comes from you, and I'm sure that goes down to your team, and that's how they deal with each other. And there'll be a huge cohort to say, dude, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't like this. Like,
it's
I want to go back where everyone's like, oh,
100%.
Darling. Right? And there's no right or no wrong, but it comes from you. And it's the same way it'll come from me, and it'll come from Dhiman, etc.
Yeah.
But we don't have a toolkit, right? I don't think we've done it well.
Right.
I don't think we've done it well. I don't think the culture of, what is our culture, right? Number one, it is just banging it, right? I mean, I don't have a better word.
Yeah.
But like, it's freaking like, doesn't matter what time it is, just get what we call GSD, right? Get
shit done. Yeah.
Stuff done or shit done, right? Just, and that means being entrepreneurial, just doing it, right? Like, forget whose fault it is, forget the excuse, forget that, it's just getting it done and banging it, right?
Right.
Number 2, doing it fundamentally, just being a good person while doing it, right? You don't have to right? Good person being respectful, being honest, being whatever, right?
Core values,
right? And third is the obsession with the client, right?
Right.
And obsession with the client is very hazy, but in ours, it is give a freaking great product, be honest with the client. If something's wrong, tell them it's going wrong. Don't try to cover it up, and do whatever it takes to delight that person, right? And that's various things. And but as we grow, I think that does get diluted, right? Because maybe the people 1 minus us live it because they won't survive otherwise.
Sure.
The 2 minus us partially might live it,
right?
But then the 3 minus us, we don't think lives it, and I think that's again our fault, because we've not equipped the people below us to help them spread and replicate it, right?
Sure.
Or the managers below us. But that's something we are working on.
Right. No, thanks for being candid. I think that's such a key part to, you said you're going to list in the next 4 or 5 years. I'm assuming this is going to be a big focus because that's what's going to make 1,000 or 10,000. Today we're in Goa, we're in Kunur, we're in obviously doing a lot of stuff in Maharashtra and different parts of Maharashtra. I'm assuming you have avenues to really take this out of the water. I don't know if we ever went on the international pathway.
We haven't known. So in Isprava and chapter, we are in Goa.
Yeah.
We're in Alibag.
Yeah.
We're in Karjat.
Right.
We're launching Karjat. We've launched up north in Kasauli.
Beautiful.
In Himachal. We were in Kunur, but we moved. We're slowing down there.
Got it.
In the Lohono, which is a hospitality business, we are outside India. We're in Bali. We have over 100 homes there.
Oh, wow.
We're in Phuket. We're in Koh Samui. We're in Sri Lanka. We're in the Maldives. Within India, we call them circles, we're in 15 circles, 12 to 15 circles.
Right.
So Kashmir, Himachal, 2 circles in Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, 3 circles in Maharashtra, Goa, and then we go down into Karnataka, which is a Kurg circle, and Tamil Nadu, which is so we have 12 to 13 circles.
Insane.
And that's a Lohono business.
Yeah.
The Isprava business will continue going deeper where we are. The Lohono business will kind of grow.
You scale geography. No, I just brought that up because those are like it's fun for you to say these 100 names in like 30 seconds, but to actually build that out must have been pretty crazy. So humans are going to still be a big part of it. Talking about humans, let's just switch gears completely. Technology. I know you've always been very tech obsessed. How have you implemented this? And I feel like real estate is still very hard to disrupt.
Right.
I've tried it my own different way with fractional investing and maybe approaching it from the finance side and building a platform and all that stuff. It's very hard to really, quote unquote, disrupt this in the startup way that we've been raised.
Yeah.
How do you, I know that you're very technology obsessed. How have you inculcated it within the business at what layers? And are you seeing a payoff or is it just an operational tool? And plus, obviously I know it's very much a buzzword, but are you using any kind of AI? We maybe spoke about this on message, but would love to see applicability.
So I think 2 or 3 things. Number one, we have a separate tech product team.
Right.
That's at a group level. So it works across Lohono, Isprava, everything. Where we used product, right? A lot in operations. Think about what we're doing. We're not building towers, right? Where there's standardization.
Sure.
We're building these fragmented hundreds of projects where floor plans are different, interiors are different.
Yeah.
By the way, we're doing interiors, builders don't do that. Maybe commercial builders do, maybe hospitality do, but again, that's standardized.
Correct.
Ours is all unique. Every room is different. Every piece of furniture is different.
Insane.
So we use a lot of technology there, right? We use a lot of technology across process. We use a lot of technology around task management. We use it and ticket raising around quality. We use a lot of technology around material, right? We use what we have is what we call our central OI. And there's a lot that we built and there's a lot that kind of feeds into it, right?
Sure.
From the revenue side, from the operation side, from the finance side. And then it all kind of sits together. And in Lohono, it looks very different from Isprava. And we keep doing that because how do we, create operational leverage in a business that at least on the Isprava side, that fundamentally doesn't allow you to create operational leverage, right? Given fragmentation, given how do you create those economies of scale? It's very, very difficult to do. When it comes to AI, we've already started a few smaller projects. The low-hanging fruit around the call center side and revenue side.
Right.
A little bit around design we're kind of testing out.
Nice.
It's not working well enough.
Do you have any plans to make that 300 headcount 30 with AI? Is that possible for you guys?
It's tough. It's very, very tough. It's very difficult to do.
Okay.
Because architecture and interior, at least for the foreseeable future, might end up being a human thing. You can add to it. We're using other technologies, so not AI, but we're using other technology around designing a home and blah blah blah, and we can get into that. But today, of course, we've tested out the mid journeys of the world.
Yeah.
We've tested,
It's
but
not up
but
to
it's
that.
not fully working. And do we want to build our own agent? Not at the moment, right? It's too expensive.
Sure.
So I think there will be a time, and we know how fast this is. So I'm saying 1 or 2 years. It might be 6 months from now that ideally I can put a floor plan in it gives me my 3D model and I
Correct.
can then use design around it. Hopefully that will happen.
Yeah.
But I still think a lot of what our designers do goes beyond that, right? They talk to clients, they stand on site and
Sure.
look at quality. They're value engineering in a very smart manner.
Right.
They're holding relationships across the spectrum, which I don't think AI, at least in the short term, will replicate, right?
Can't.
But there's other stuff that we are doing in AI, right? A lot on the revenue side, a lot on the accounts and finance side, a lot in the other things that are fairly easy to do.
Nice. No, fantastic. Thanks for that. I really wanted to just kind of deep dive maybe into certain specific elements of the business. But just to kind of maybe conclude, and I have a few personal questions after that. What's next for Isprava? I think you've obviously built out, you said the end of phase 3. You mentioned, obviously, through the course of this conversation, the next 4 to 5 years is when you want to list. What's the plan to get there? Are there certain benchmarks or milestones you've set for the company? And what do you see beyond listing? I'm assuming it's just another stepping stone for you. Yeah. So where does the business kind of go from here?
Sure. I think that there are various parts to this question, right? Because we have various brands and there's a different thought process behind every brand. Isprava is our super luxury brand. Our aim is not to grow volumes there.
Right.
It's not. It's just to create these one-of-a-kind masterpieces. Think of it as a bespoke suit. Think of it as a Maybach, right?
Right.
Or a Ferrari. Ferrari is not trying to make hundreds of thousands of cars a year, right?
Sure.
And that is Isprava, and we're very happy with that. We're very proud of that. And that's kind of how it'll continue, right? The chapter is a luxury product. You should see that. Unbelievable homes.
Right.
But we believe, given the price point, which is one third to half of Isprava,
right,
there's a lot more scalability there. The chapter homes are still unique, etc. But it's a little more scalable. You can go to more geographies, etc.
Sure.
So I think that'll kind of drive volume.
Nice.
Lohono, again, we want to only play in the 5-star plus category. You will never see us with a 4-star home. That's not who we are.
Right.
When again, not chasing numbers there. We're not proud with having 1,000 homes on our platform. We couldn't care less.
I understand.
We want the best homes on our platform. And if that means today, I think we have 160 homes.
Right.
In India. And we have,
really?
We have 160 in India and another 150 or something, or 250 abroad.
Understood. Is that intentional?
It's very intentional because we only take the best homes. It's that simple.
Understood.
Right? And that is important.
Right.
Right. And that's any good hospitality brand,
sure,
right? That's playing in that level. And everything works, right?
Sure.
But that is our goal. Our goal is not to have 1,000 homes. Our goal is, if India has 300 great homes, we want all those 300. If India in 5 years has 1,000, then we're happy with that.
Right.
But if India only has 150, I'm happy with 150. But they have to be the best 150 homes in any given location.
No, I just asked because it's like the opposite of your competitors, right? I think every MIS is what supply did we get to be able to capture demand.
And again, I'll explain why, right? Because we're not VC funded. We strongly believe that when you build a category, you're flying a plane, right? You're every time there's failure, you can almost shut down a business. Think about a customer. He comes and he has a bad stay in a villa. If he has a bad stay at the Taj, he says, "Oh, the Taj is great, but I had a bad stay.
Sure.
And I'll go back."
Right.
But if he stays in a villa, he'd say, "I'm never getting into a villa in my life again. I'm just going to go back to what I know because for 50 years, I've stayed at the Oberoi, the Taj, or the Marriott," right? So you cannot afford to, and again, the business name of the game here is, how do you reduce your CAC to AOV? And that can only happen with repeat.
Right.
It can only happen with word of mouth. It can only
Same
happen with
principles.
referrals.
Absolutely.
And therefore, you can't afford to crash the plane. That doesn't mean we've not crashed the plane many times. We have.
Sure.
But if we chase numbers in that business, I believe the whole category will die. Because at some point, people are just going to be like, you know what? Great.
Through this.
But let's just go to the hotel. Right? Because I know what I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Some level of standardization. I know out of 10 stays, there will be one bad, but 9 won't be bad. Here, I don't even know what I'm going to get. So that is our thought process when it comes to no.
Sure.
And I think across our business is just being customer obsessed is what works.
Yeah.
We'll always make mistakes.
Right.
But how do we then try to fix them as long as it's fair?
Right.
And by the way, many times customers are not fair.
Sure.
And especially in Lohono, like we just have customers who come in.
I'm sure.
Because they want
it's a reason
something. Yeah, just, and there will be form. And then we build other so we're starting our club business. We're starting with a mini club in Goa.
Right. Congrats. That's big.
It's not a business. In our mind, it's a marketing spend,
Mm-hmm.
right? Will it over the next 5 years possibly become a great business?
Sure.
Maybe.
Sure.
Do we care what it grows to in 5 years? Absolutely not.
Got
The
it.
only thing we care about is when someone walks into those doors, will they get in and say, wow, this is a smashing experience,
Sure.
right? Could be better, but we've given our all, and then it'll automatically kind of evolve.
Right. Right. No, beautiful. Thanks for that. I just want to see, do you have like numbers in your mind about this? Is there something you can talk about? We're doing 1,000 crores this year in sales. Do you want to say, okay, I'll get to $1 billion in sales and then I'm going to IPO? Like, are you thinking about it at all like that?
No, not necessarily. I think, do we have a business plan? The answer is yes. Is a business plan something that allowed to lead us?
Right.
Where we sit every month and say, okay, because the business plan is this, we do this. Maybe not. Maybe on the strategic stuff, not on the nitty-gritty
Understood.
stuff.
Understood.
Why do we want to list? I think we believe that a company like ours should list. I think there's no company like us. We have a very, very unique. There will be a very unique place in the capital markets for us.
Yeah.
We believe listing will allow us to scale even more. I think listing is just a step, right?
Another step.
We're not
Absolutely.
obsessed with it.
For sure.
Care. It's just a goal towards, towards something that we're going towards. But it gives all of us in the company some sort of goal,
direction
right?
to make.
And direction.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it'll clean up our pipes and plumbing, because to be a public company, you need to your back end needs to be really, really world class, right?
It's your first fundraise at another scale.
Exactly. So that's broadly how we're thinking about it. If we don't list, we're happy, we're cool. No.
Thanks so much for the nib. I think a lot of candor there. That's really fantastic. Just last couple of concluding kind of questions. More on the personal side, really. I think I thought I'd ask you, looking back, if you had to do this all over again, it's 2010, you're back from London and you've just moved back, would you pick the opportunities that you've picked to work on over the last decade?
100%.
Is there something else you're like, shit, man, I wish I'd started that?
Themis was a boring business. I freaking hated accounts, and so did you. But it gave us so much learning, right?
Yeah.
We were inside each company. We knew we learned a good entrepreneur from a bad entrepreneur. Our love for tech came from sitting with all of them. We learned truly how to sell. We learned customer. Look, a lot of our customers came through word of mouth.
Yeah.
There. And we learned that, right? So it really built my foundation, and I'm pretty sure yours.
Yeah.
Aditya, by the way, who's the founder of Scalable, I think you've done a podcast. He was another one of our cohort. Ishan, you should do a podcast with him on spirituality and life. So I wouldn't do that differently.
You wouldn't.
I think Isprava is just something I'm obsessed with.
No, I know you just love it. It's part of you.
I mean, you're building, what business can you just see something grow in front of your eyes? And we have clients who cry out of joy when they see their homes.
No, for sure.
You can't get that.
It's such a personal thing. It's such a personal.
The messages we get when they get delivered. What are we doing for them? We're giving them memories, right?
Yeah.
We truly believe that if someone buys a home from us, it's better for their lives.
For sure.
Right? Because they're going to go there, their kids, their grandparents, they're going to create memories.
110.
They're going to get closer together. I always tell our design team, but this applies everywhere. When you're designing a primary home, an apartment in Bombay, you make the bedrooms huge and the living room small.
Right.
Because every single person's trying to get away from their family.
Right.
You go into a Bombay bedroom, you'll have your bedroom, you'll have your mini fridge there.
Sure.
You'll have your own TV. And then, because your father's strict, you might have one meal with him, right? But otherwise, you're trying to get away.
Yeah.
And Isprava home is the opposite. The bedrooms are very small. You're only effectively sleeping there, right?
Correct.
You are all spending time in the living room. You're all in a world that's not that stressful world, right? You're all, if I ask any one of you, right? Hey, listen, tell me your best 10 memories in the last year. I can guarantee you 70% is some holiday you've been on with your family. Right? And that is what's so important. And if you can make money doing it because our homes go up in price, and if you can, list on loan,
it's a no-brainer.
What we're doing is the most unbelievable thing. And then we're building,
No, it's a great service.
I would never do anything else
That's
at all.
amazing.
And
That's
I
amazing.
also believe we're the best in the world at what we do.
Right.
So why would I want to do anything?
I hear you, man. Thank you for that. And if someone else was starting, just 2 questions.
Yeah.
If someone else was starting in real estate right now, what advice would you give them?
Number one.
Very, very overall question, but
Okay. 2 things. Number one, don't be obsessed with land. Because being obsessed with land means at some point you are investing in land and then you're investing in more land, and residential real estate is a very cyclical business. So, hurry, but hurry slowly.
right.
And ultimately, which is linked to point 1B, which is linked to land, which is debt. Debt compounds. And I think in real estate, if you study any real estate company that's failed,
Right.
that's what's the obsession of land, which led to raising debt, which then led to, at some point when there was a down cycle, led to issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the second thing is just build a great product. And I mean, don't cut corners, build a great product. And again, building a great product takes a lot of time. It won't show up in your balance sheet or your P&L or your cash flow.
Sure.
It won't. Building
Sure.
a great product is expensive for the first 10 years. It's more expensive. Right? But I think at some point, if you're in it to build it,
No, fair enough. Thanks so much, Nib. That was great. Really, thank you for your time. Thank you for your candor, your honesty.
Thanks.
And I'm sure this is going to benefit everyone that's looking to start in this space or was already following Isprava's journey. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, boys.